The Generation Zote movement is a political discourse to change our architecture of politics so as to remove bad governance, corruption, ethnic balkanization, and social exclusion. It is very bad for me tonight to have to speak matters that are sensitive to our national security in a political discourse, because I believe that much as we are trying to better our nation, we should not destroy the one that we already have. But now that the security agencies of our country have stopped protecting life and property, and instead have decided to kill and destroy, abducting citizens born in this country, and instead of taking them to court to be processed and to face their crimes and answer to a judge and face evidence, these persons cannot be found, and those who have been found murdered. Now today, I like to call out Safaricom. Safaricom, you are a company operating in Kenya, partially owned by government and partially owned by shareholders. I would like to ask you to be honest tonight and tell Kenyans how much access you've given the DCI on your platform. Because the Crime Research and Intelligence Bureau at the DCI, nicknamed CRIB, has access to your system. You need to tell us what is the procedure by which they access information of your customers. Do they prove to Safaricom that they have active investigation of a case ongoing? Do they provide an OB number or an investigation diary? How do you allow them to just access the data of your customers unfettered? And if it is true that these people are accessing data using some procedure, you need to tell us, these people that have been abducted, which officer, which specific officer, because a system has logins for specific individuals. So you need to tell us which specific officer requested for information, all right, from your system regarding any person that has been abducted or that is missing. And you can provide that information, because anybody who accesses Safaricom system, there are master logs in your system. You can see this person logged in, this person accessed this person's location using our system, and this person logged out. So this officer who checked this person's location and provided that location to ground officers of the DCI to abduct this person, and now this person is not before a court of law, you need to tell us where this person went. It's plain and simple. Let's not beat around the bush. You've given DCI access to your system. You need to tell us, these people that have been abducted, which officer at the DCI, which service number access that information. Secondly, we need to know from Kenya Power how much information you provide to DCI regarding people buying tokens. Because DCI is able to know the houses and locations of its targets using tokens. I've said time without number that I'm not hiding and I'm not on the run. If DCI were to call me today or reach my office and say that they need me at DCI for questioning, or if I was to be placed under arrest and produced before a court of law to face a crime and evidence is produced, I would come to court and defend myself. But these people are abducting Kenyans, and then these Kenyans disappear. And you want us to keep quiet about it in the name of national security? This national security is no longer protecting Kenyans. We pay for these institutions. These institutions, National Intelligence Service, DCI, Kenya Power, you are paid by the taxpayers of Kenya. How do you kill the same people that pay you? So Kenya Power needs to tell us the information they provide to DCI regarding where someone has bought tokens. How is that information accessed? Take us through the process. An officer requests for information. I log into the system. I provide him with information that this person and this person bought tokens in this house and this house. So that we know these Kenyans who have been abducted and disappeared but cannot be found, which specific officer requested for their token information. Because an officer has a service number. And if they are requesting for information from Kenya Power, there should be a procedure, a well laid out procedure. We are not saying that our security agency should not access information for purposes of detecting and preventing crime. That's how they've been able to prevent terrorism. That's how they've been able to even capture serious criminals who have committed heinous crimes. But when they use that same system to now abduct and kill Kenyans who are agitating for good governance, then it is a joke taken too far. We'd also like to know from the National Intelligence Service. And if you had a serious Senate Security and Intelligence Committee or National Assembly Security and Intelligence Committee, these are questions they should question. They should invite the head of DCI, head of intelligence, and question these questions at the floor of the House. But now we have parliamentarians who are just in bed with the executive. They cannot think on their own 2 feet and realize that they were elected by Kenyans to keep these people accountable. The National Intelligence Service needs to tell us about a system called Pegasus that they got from Israel and its use in Kenya. How it sends a text message to people's phone and how they are able to spy on people's phones. Now I want to tell you, you security agencies and the National Security Committee, you are paid by the taxes of Kenyans. Mstuzie woga. Don't make us afraid of living in our own country. Don't make us afraid of waking up and working. We are standing up against corruption. Kenya yetu imeporwa. We have no opportunities. Vijana wanaumia. Don't sell us fear. On the 8th of August, we are going to be on the street. If you want to tap our phones, tap them. You cannot tap all phones. You don't have the manpower. You just have to pick probably on a few people like myself and tap them. But we want to tell you that much as you are ahead in technology, we are also not behind in terms of intelligence. I want to request all young Kenyans who are brilliant and who are educated in software engineering and computer science to now come up and fight for their country. Get behind your computer. Where hata hatukuhitaji kwa street. Get behind your computer. These questions that we are asking, help us get them. You've gone to school, you are educated, you are jobless, but you can have bundles. Help us. Because using technology, we can expose this corruption. And I can assure you that the National Intelligence and the DCI, they are not brighter than us. They are not. So wasituuzie uoga. Where in our country we want to walk freely. The only thing we want you to do is to use those systems that we pay with our taxes to prevent crime, not to perpetuate crime, not to arrest innocent Kenyans, then they disappear. If you arrest any Kenyan, if you arrest Morara today, produce him before a court of law. If he has a crime, if the crime is speaking against President Ruto and saying that President Ruto is the father of corruption, fine, arrest me, place me before a court of law. Let me explain why I think William Ruto is the father of corruption. We need change in our country. And we don't want to topple our government. We've seen what happens in nations where governments are toppled. We want this government to shape up. But if they don't shape up, then they are pushing us to where we don't want to be pushed to. Nane Nane is still alive, and we are going to be there. Hatuogopi.